really? No, he can't be. I won't let him go!
So, you have awakened at last, Princess. The keyhole is now complete. You have served your purpose, but now it's over.
Do you think we can stop him all by ourselves?
I don't know.
Impossible.
No! You won't use me for this!
Riku!
You've gotta run! The Heartless are coming!
What about the keyhole?
Let's just get out of here!
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts commentary. Man, the plot's really kicking off now, not only with the return of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who's taken possession of Riku's body, but, well, Sora's dead, and now we're playing as a Heartless. Sad as it is to say, no, we will not be getting to play as a Heartless, because this is in fact Sora's Heartless, hence why we're controlling him, and it's a bit of a pathetic one. Like, most other Heartless enemies in the series are kind of badass and cool, but this one is a mere shadow. Now again, there was initially, well, two distinctive things I want to point out before we conclude this little segment here, because again, we won't be playing as this statutory Heartless for long. The first of which is that initially Tetsuya Nomura planned for like a sort of trippy otherworld sequence where Sora traverses a realm of death, but this was cut for time. But you never know, in Kingdom Hearts 3 we might be seeing what that concept ultimately ended up being and what became of it. And in addition, there was also meant to be a segment where we got to play as Kairi in this game, and again, I would have much rather seen it in this game than the brief tacit acknowledgement we got in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, which I'll save my thoughts for when we get back to it, but honestly, I think a playable Kairi segment honestly would have been good. I mean, granted, I still think a Kairi-centric Kingdom Hearts game is something we're in dire need of. I mean, I suppose Melody of Memory is there by technicality, but that was a spin-off musical game, and even in that case, it wasn't even technically Kairi's game, because, shock of all shocks, you take possession of Sora right in the final level, and therefore Kairi does absolutely fuck all except go to sleep. Yeah, as you can probably imagine, I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Kairi, but it's not just out of, like, sheer blind hatred or fanboyism or whatever, but mainly because I feel like the series does let her down in a lot of aspects. And I mean, let me just say this much, the fact that Kingdom Hearts 1 Kairi is a pretty decent character in her own right, both in personality and in terms of what she does, even if it is in more of a passive capacity, I don't know, it's conflicted, but again, you're going to be seeing a lot more examples of it as we go on, and even towards the end of the part, really. But again, I'll save my thoughts for now, because since we have finally caught up with our budding companions, let's see if they'll accept Sora for who he is as a Heartless, or if they're racist.
Confounded Heartless! Get lost, will ya?
Sora? Is that you?
Uh-oh!
This time, I'll protect you. Sora!
Kairi!
Kairi, thank you. Sora!
Sora!
Go, now!
Come with us!
I told you before, I'm not leaving without Belle. Now go! The Heartless are coming.
Alright. Let's get out of here.
Tell me what happened. So the darkness is flowing out of that keyhole.
No wonder there are more and more Heartless everywhere. The only way to stop them is...
Seal the keyhole, right?
Maybe, but no one knows what will happen once it's sealed.
Well, we can't just stay here. We have to do something. I've got a friend back there.
That's right. You have one more friend to worry about. Riku's Keyblade must have been born of the captive princess's hearts. Just like that keyhole you saw. Of course, without Kairi's heart, it remained incomplete. Once that Keyblade was destroyed, the princess's hearts should have been freed. Don't worry, Sora. If anyone can save your friend, you can.
And Squall wasn't talking idly there. Yeah, the Heartless enemies that you're going to be encountering from this point on in all of the worlds are going to be much more powerful and much more plentiful, which is a good or bad thing depending on how you take this. On the one hand, more powerful enemies spawn, and therefore you can get a lot more experience points, and therefore grinding does become at least somewhat less tedious. But on the other hand, you also have more powerful enemies to deal with. This lovely town that you once knew is once again crawling with Heartless, so pick your poison. But again, at this point, and again, kind of an odd duck really, because, yeah, the characters ran away from Hollow Bastion. The way back is not quite as easy as it is before, because, again, both in the interdimensional space and, of course, in Traverse Town, yeah, Heartless are flooding the area, and therefore the original route that we took there is, well, fucked. So basically, we're gonna have to go back towards Adoptive Daddy Sid to find another navigation gummy. Oh yes, so we can eat the gummy and know how to get to Hollow Bastion. And again, you see my point right now. Search Ghost in Traverse Town. What is this? Overreaction? Something or other, whatever. But again, the same rules do also still apply though. Like, I mean, in terms of the special Heartless that you need to attack for synthesis or, you know, to get particular items, again, those ones will still spawn, like the Sniper Wilds that you initially encountered out here. Again, they'll still show up. Again, just go 2 rooms forward, 2 rooms back, and you should have enemy spawn rates spawning at the rate they usually do. Which is admittedly sporadic, and part of RPGs that I can't help but get angry at. But regardless of such, this part again is just a Traverse Town fuckabout. I mean, there's going to be a little bit more story, for the lack of a better phrase, to tie things over since we do have Kairi back, and, you know, I think Sora is long overdue to have some interactions with her, you know, the supposed love interest, which I'm sure totally isn't Riku, to the fact they've had plenty more scenes worth of development, and not just in this game, throughout the rest of the series in general, and will not be terribly retconning Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, I am salty about my gay boys, and I want them to be together forever and ever and ever and ever. I mean, you might think I'm joking by the rate at which I'm speaking, but no, I genuinely believe that Riku has much more chemistry with Sora than Kairi ever has. Despite what Kingdom Hearts 3 and Melody of Memory try to point out, even though it's like, what, 6 games too fucking late at this point? I don't know what else to say. It's a bit of a shit show, honestly. But yeah, apart from heading over towards Sid to pick up the gummy block, it's really just sort of going about, and again, at this point in the worlds, you should pretty much have most of what you need to collect, provided you're into a lot of the extraneous stuff, so yeah, go back to Pongo and Bongo, get the items or whatever, you know, check up on Geppetto and Pinocchio if you want to get some new gummy ship designs, stop by at the Gizmo shop, pick up some gizmos, buy a fancy hat and a handbag. It's gonna be fun on the bun. But I mean, on a serious note though, it's just what it is, really. I mean, really, it's just violence. Although, then again, we also have to pay a visit to Merlin, because we did get that last summoning gem. Not the Final Fantasy summon that I mentioned before, but instead, certain Disney character. That doesn't have his original voice actor, because Eddie Murphy costs money, and that's all the hint I'm gonna give you, until we find out what it is. And again, I'm gonna be using that summon a fair bit, even though it's not quite as useful as I thought it would be. Especially for a late game summon, but I don't know, I guess maybe some of them might have been shifted around development. I can't say for certain, but yeah. Anyway, let's check our syntheses, whatever stuff. And again, as you can see, degree of stuff is growing, but all we can make is defense up. And we're playing as defense, so we don't really need much of that. Well, except for the super bosses, because, well, in the coming parts, yeah, it's gonna be a spicy meatball. And, well, I mean, I've got all the parts, and, God, the editing is gonna be a fucking nightmare. But, heck. And oh yeah, it's the guy who got his heart ripped out. How you doing, pal? Feeling good? Is this his nobody? I don't think they ever explain it other than just lazy character reuser, which I know I shouldn't be surprised about, considering the fact that we have, like, fake Titus and fake Waka and Traverse Town and Agrabah respectively, but I don't know. Mega Elixir. Very useful. Does magical shit for all the party. Whoopee. And he doesn't have any more interesting dialogue, so piss off, fake Titus. We need no more of your remarks or pussy jacked shit. In hindsight, I probably should have trimmed down this part, but hey, it's, I don't know. It is always good to just sort of, you know, travel around and, you know, have a sort of home base kind of setting. I really do like it, and again, as you saw with the Moogle earlier, talking about a boy who won the Olympus Coliseum tournament, like, I mean, the characters that you interact with are, to a certain extent, again, they do have a degree of reaction towards what you do in the game. Not as much as I would have liked, but again, it is there, and that's something I appreciate. But anyway, enough beating around the bush, let's go to the mysterious house. And of course, since we picked up Glide from Neverland, this is trivial. No longer do we have to deal with boring platforming segments that don't really work as well as they should. Anyway, let's go to Ferris Goodmother and see what our new summon is. By the way, would you believe that the Fairy Godmother becomes, like, one of the most, well, I wouldn't say interesting, but one of the most, like, one of the characters with the most bizarre powers you will ever fucking see in Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I think I might have mentioned this in Chain of Memories, actually, but I can't remember if I did or not, which is apropos considering the game, but, Jesus Christ, it's gotta be seen to be believed, dude. But anyway, to talk about the summon gem that we got, Mushu from the movie Milan. Not the recent one, the animated one. I haven't seen either, to be honest. Again, my only exposure is through Kingdom Hearts, but yeah, Mushu, basically how that acts as a summon gem to just sort of fill up for time here. Yeah, basically it's a machine gun. It replaces Donald and Goofy with Mushu standing on your shoulder and he shoots out fireballs. Again, I don't know if, like, Cheer gives him, like, an extra power boost or anything, but yeah, for a late-game summon, he doesn't quite come in as handy as I would have liked him to. I suppose maybe you're meant to use him to disperse of the Nocturnes or whatever, but I don't know. Just, the rapid fire doesn't really make up for its lack of power, and I mean, at this point in the game, when you are pretty much dealing with more powerful Heartless, you don't really get that much use out of Mushu, but again, regardless of such, I'm going to be using him because, to spoil a little something here, Mushu comes back in Kingdom Hearts 2, and you might be wondering, as a summon? No, as, like, a physical character in a world, and again, like, summon gems do remember traveling around with Sora, Donald, and Goofy, so yeah, it is technically canon that they're experiencing these things, even though there's no real cutscene importance made to any of this stuff, but hey, gotta uphold the continuity, which is pretty much the only reason why I was using the Kingdom Key, and Donald and Goofy's default gear throughout, otherwise I would have been mix-and-matching like a yippee-yo, kaye. And also from, well, Polybastion, we got the final White Trinity, but we won't be using it just yet, because we gotta get, the gem out. And now, with the Gami block, we can finally go to the other world with the moon. But again, before that, we have a little heart-to-heart with Kairi, in one of the few scenes that I think adequately builds their relationship. But again, I'll say no more on that because I've ranted for long enough. So on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll see you dudes and dudettes next time in the Kingdom Hearts commentary. Bye-bye.
A light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, your grandma's story, right?
That's right. We were together.
You know what's funny? I looked everywhere for you, but you were with me all along. Finally, we're together, Kairi. Now, it's time to get Riku back.
think it'll ever be the same again between us? Riku's lost his...
When I turned into a Heartless, you saved me, remember? I was lost in the darkness. I couldn't find my way. As I stumbled through the dark, I started forgetting things. My friends, who I was. The darkness almost swallowed me. But then I heard a voice. Your voice. You brought me back.
I didn't want to just forget about you, Sora. I couldn't.
That's it! Our hearts are connected. And the light from our hearts broke through the darkness. I saw that light. I think that's what saved me. No matter how deep the darkness, a light shines within. I guess it's more than just a fairy tale.
Well, let's go!
You can't go.
Why not?
Because it's way too dangerous.
Come on, Sora. We made it this far by sticking together. You can't go alone.
Kairi, even if we're apart, we're not alone anymore, right?
I can't help?
You'd kind of be in my way.
Okay. You win. Take this. It's my lucky charm. Be sure to bring it back to me.
Don't worry, I will.
Promise?
Promise.
Don't ever forget. Wherever you go, I'm always with you.